Okay, this is a good example of how much improvement can be made in just one lesson. On the left-hand side is a new student, Paolo. In the middle is professional golfer Ernie Els. It almost doesn't matter which accomplished or professional golfer we drop here in the middle. We're going to pull the same fundamental moves as any golfer. So we're going to just pull the same fundamental moves as in the lower right-hand corner. There should be a little icon that looks similar to this. Click on that. It should enlarge the screen so you can see detail a lot better. But the biggest thing we did is we worked on Paolo's technique of closing the club face correctly. So as we take a look at his before technique, we didn't change his grip and his setup too much, just a little bit on his right hand. But as we see Paolo move into impact, we can see the old technique of his right hand pushing the club face closed and the club head passing the hands very quickly. So we can see at impact we have this rear shaft lean right here at impact. So the hands are back here off the inside of his right thigh. So what we really want is we want to be able to learn, we need to educate Paolo's hands on how to close the club face correctly. And when we do that, the hands are actually ahead of the ball at impact, and we have what's called forward shaft lean once the hands learn how to close the club face correctly. In the old technique, the shaft was leaning backwards very quickly. So what we worked on was we taught Paolo how to close the club face correctly, and once he's able to do that, actually the hands lead the club head into impact. So now we have what's called forward shaft lean. The hands are over the inside of the left thigh, right over the left thigh, instead of the old technique where the right hand was pushing, and the hands are over the inside of actually over his right thigh, the inside of his right thigh. We actually need the hands forward so we can hit ball then ground, and that's just what we have in the new technique. The hands are forward. And we also taught Paolo how to continue to close the club face, and in the old technique, the left hand would stay on top. There would be no forearm rotation. You can see the white of his glove on top. And what we really want is we want the forearms to rotate correctly, close the club face correctly. So now that the left hand is underneath, the right hand is on top. So now that's what we have with the new technique. Left hand should be underneath. Paolo's new technique, the left hand is underneath, right hand is on top. Right hand is on top in the accomplished golfer, but in the old technique, the right hand was underneath and the left hand was on top. So we really just helped Paolo learn how to just educated his hands on how to close the club face correctly. The other thing is once you learn how to close the club face correctly is you're able to create a lot more lag. So we're going to take Paolo actually into his approach of the golf ball, and now that he knows how to close the club face correctly, he actually now can get more lag in his swing. So now the hands are right off his right thigh in the old technique. So he still has, in the new technique, he still has a great deal of angle between the left arm and the club shaft. In the old technique, the hands haven't even reached his right thigh yet, and he's pretty much lost all angle from his left arm to the club shaft. But with professional accomplished golfers, as the hands are right over the right thigh, we have a lot of angle between the left arm and the club shaft. So once you learn how to close the club face correctly, you not only get more lag in your golf swing, but your hands actually lead the club head through impact, and now you're able to get forward shaft lean and hit ball then ground. Once you learn how to close the club face correctly, and that's what we just did with Paolo, and this is a great example of how much improvement can be made in just one lesson.